Hello everybody, First is here. Today with another new project which I haven't expected in all my life I will do, and that is this one, this little guy, the Medford MIZUCHI. MIZUCHI should be some kind of water snake or water serpent, poisonous, something like that. So something dangerous out that way. So my first and at the moment only Medford knife. And I've been always looking for these Medford knives, if they are hype, simply because they were always, or they are, too thick in my eyes, and just they had, or they have, because I got this one now, but of course you can see some kind of a raw design, so that's not something I do like really. I'm all right with those tops and kind of SC designs, but the Medford sometimes those knives look sometimes way to me too raw for me, simply. They look like tool from my workshop, something like that. But anyway, the Medford MIZUCHI, I'll show you with out of these perspectives before I will start. Let's start. So it came in this box, made in USA. Blue Ridge knives. I haven't heard about them. So MIZUCHI blade steel 20 CV, tumbled. I will go to those details very soon, but that's the finish, blade finish, but I don't know actually what it means. I've tried to find what is it in my translator, and there is nothing about that. So, or at least, okay, there is something which not cooperate. I would say it's not some comparable to what I am looking for. So it must be something different. So I would say this is simply polished blade. It's not stone washed. It's polished. See how shiny it is that. I don't know what it means. But anyway, before I take this one off, it came with this one, Medford knives, with this like dog tag, but there is no something about the knife like in general. What they said. It's about when something happened to the knife. I'll forget that word again. Something happened to the knife. I want to send it there to replace it or simply repair it, fix it, something. So they said they will do it even for first owner, so original owner, even for the second hand. So they don't care about who is the owner now. If you got the knife and probably the certificate, I'm not sure about that. So they will fix that for you, which is nice. Lifetime warranty, that's something like that, I would call it as the word. So there were these two things, plastic, but I got these made for knives and tools. Okay, a couple of stickers. As I said, I don't care that much, but what's more important is this certificate. That's something different. I like that. They said it was made 21st of March to 2024. So the knife is about 6 months old, not even a year. Interesting is, on the MIZUCHI, I haven't found any information on Medford page. I was surprised, really. There's plenty of knives, folders, fixed blades, and these things, but not about the MIZUCHI. Even if I type it there, nothing, zero information. So if this is some special run, but I guess this is not, if this is a special run, it's not the first. I guess I saw this knife years ago. So It's kind of weird. They don't have any information about that. So all informations I found were about or Blade HQ and DLT trading and all these pages, but not on that Medford itself, which is, for me, it's weird. I don't understand why. Anyway, details. It came in this nice Kydex sheath, Coyote, corresponding with these Coyote G10 handles. I give you some details. So Medford MIZUCHI, the weight is 309 grams as a complete package, or 10.9 ounces. The knife itself, 223 grams, not light, definitely, thanks to the thickness, or 7.8 ounces, and the sheath is 86 grams or 30 ounces. So like that, we got overall length is 20.2 millimeters. In the description they said 21.6 about, so 22. 20 centimeters and 2 millimeters. So kind of short blade, which is nice for that. We'll talk about it a little bit later. 7.95 inches. Knife, it's the blade 10 centimeters, and blade. What I mean is, as usually, from here to the very tip, and it is 3.94. So it's in general sub 4 inches blade, quite short. The edge itself, so real edge from here to the very tip, is 9.1 centimeters or 3.54 inches. 3.54 inches. The handle, but of course, where if I count the blade from here, so from this point forward towards the tip, so now I count this one as a handle, and that is 10 centimeters, 10.2 centimeters, or 3.94 inches. It is, the steel is 20 CV. I will go to that a bit later. I haven't found any information about hardness on the steel. What we've got here, blade thickness, that's very important, is 6.5, so 6.5 millimeters, or 0.256, so quarter of an inch. Handle thickness, as we might see, there is no any contouring, so this is like flat. So the thickness counts for all those parts is 16.4 millimeters, or 0.64 of an inch, so 2/3 of an inch about. And what's important is this is a really beefy blade, absolutely. And the thickness behind the edge, so where you see the shining light line now, shining light ends, is about 0.9 of millimeters. 0.9 of millimeters, or 0.03 of an inch, but that count is not really proper. I don't have the caliper in that precision for inches. So 0.9 millimeters, that's really kind of axe or hatchet edge. So it's really wedge. Of course, the angle changes, but it should be durable edge, but definitely not a slicer. So again, we will talk about it a little bit later. I'd like to tell you, we got this Kydex Coyote Kydex, and we've got the original Techlock. So if we're talking about original Techlock, so this is the one. This is the large one or big one. I don't know why they use this, probably to be able, for military guys probably, to use to attach it on any kind of belts used in military world, but for me it's too big for such small knife. True is, I use the T-clip I take the T-clip, which I like, this guy, and I measure that, and the T-clip is only something shorter, so it will be not something really what I want. Probably the small Techlock is all right for any standard pound belts, so about 2 inches wide belts, so standard. Probably not for military. For those militaries, I don't have it here now. And I guess they don't make any the medium-sized Techlock, which will be probably the best for it, because there will be probably some kind of locking mechanism. I guess that was one from the idea, because the small Techlock doesn't have it. Small Techlock got just these like wings. We press and open. There is no something like this one. So when I close it, I secure it, and then it's simply more secure. The small Techlock doesn't have it, and I guess that's why they don't choose it. Or the second thing is, this is attachable for any kind of belt. There is no bigger Techlock as I know, any even those Chinese clones, these things. We've got this one here, that MKT. 2 screws. What I want to tell you about the sheath is, in general, it's probably the best sheath for how it's made. It's beautifully done. Probably the best one I've ever seen. I like the soft parking. It's not like the hard noisy click. Everything is nicely polished, rounded here. It's beautiful. Even this ramp is only on this knife. I don't have it on somewhere, even the very expensive knives. This is probably the best one. Only what I got, first thing is they got this drainage hole on the side, so it's here. I would probably expect it in the middle, which will be no problem to do that, I guess. But because the knife, it's a taco sheath, so I like it. So probably they choose this one. I got it on my, by the way, I made on myself this one too. See, it's on side, so that's why I understand. But it's not really seen many times. Usually it's in somewhere in the middle, because there is a space for it, and it's easy when you see that where the tip is. So to do it a bit offset, but with some, I don't know, with the diameter about 2.5, 3 millimeters hole. So this is about 2 millimeters about. So something like that, if that will be in the middle, it will be right. But that's not something really. That's how they build it simply. So I understand that. What I don't understand is, it's maybe because they've chosen this big Techlock. So you see that Techlock is quite big for general the sheath. If we take knife blade, so see the blade itself is about 1 inch longer than the Techlock, and the Techlock is much bigger. So one thing is there, how wide, okay, how wide is that? Again, this one, you see where is the line? I got bad light today, sorry. See this line of the edge, and we see about 3 millimeters over this steel. So let's say if we remove these 3 millimeters and sink this one, count 2 millimeters under that steel, there will be still plenty of room here to attach, to move, like all these things down, about 2 millimeters down, and then remove everything's over. So the blade is quite slim, and as we can see, that the space here is almost as wide as the blade itself. That's I don't like. I got this one for a reason. These stops, see how we got these hollow rivets. It's about 2-3 millimeters to the blade and max 2 millimeters here, so kind of saving space. As a small knife, it's better to have it there. I don't want to have small knife with huge sheath, which we can see many times. Like for example this one, what I did for myself, but that was for the purpose of this Techlock. It's the T-clip again. Anyway, that's only issue. It's not any issue, guys, anyway. But if I'll try to find something what I would choose. What I do like is how they came into this one. They took almost everything from the Kydex. They don't want to extend it to this way, which is great. That's what I mean. That's the idea. Compact knife with compact sheath. Carry on. So we got a black Techlock. We got okay. We can have generally two versions of this knife, with this tumble finish or with black DLC. And we've got this is Coyote tan handle. They've got OD green handle, and they've got black handle scales, so the G10. And to that we've got a black Kydex, this Coyote, and kind of green Kydex sheath. Pretty nice for kind of military EDC use, which this knife is probably designed for, and I guess it is. And there is PVD hardware. That's what I do like. And also on the Alaris knife, I like to have these, the hardware. It's not some kind of tiny, I don't have it here, something like this one, you know, some smaller you're looking for. I don't T15, T11, you know, something like, especially on cold steels. Even that long Warcraft Tanto I have, there is really small Torx. They use the hardware is simply for small size. This is Torx 20. This is T20. Excellent. I'm glad for it. This is made to stand something even for the size. Excellent. Good choice. Absolutely. I wish to have all the companies will use these big Torxes, so they can stand some abusing, as I said. Okay. What I've said about 20 CV steel, don't know hardness, and to a 0.2 of an inch of 0.9 of millimeters thick behind the edge, and 1/4 of an inch of the thickness. That's a combo for very robust knives for not really standard use. So how this one came sharp? I've used that. So I use where is the belly, and as you might see, it's not really sharp here. No. Where the edge is, it shaves. I don't see that, but I feel it. I feel it. So it shaves. So the straight part, as normally, is sharp enough. It shaves. The rounded, no. It's kind of, you know, and this knife was not expensive. Sorry, not cheap. It cost me about 400. Okay, no, less. About 360 US. Definitely not cheap knife. Not the most of expensive out of my collection, but you know, I like to have all these sharpened, and that's the point. I'll make comparison. I have this Tops UTE. This is great comparison to that. This is the UTE 2. They used to have UTE XL, which was about that design. I didn't have it, but I saw it and I know those details. This is 5 millimeters thick, so 0.2. This is 1/4 of an inch. So this is very similar knife in the meaning, and if this one will be that longer XL version, it will be probably something like this one, maybe with the 5 millimeters on that 1095, but something like that. So I do like this knife, and as you might see, I put there that secondary convex, and the knife slices pretty nice. Unfortunately, that 20 CV is not as easy as that 1095 to work with that, so I won't probably do that at the moment. And I'll be honest to you, I don't want to scratch this beautiful finish at the moment. So it stays like that because it shaves here on the real edge. Nicely rounded everything here. So forget about throwing sparks with this one. Nice, I would say pommel. This is nice flat part. So, and in the general, the knife could look some kind of, it's too small for my hand. Actually, it's not. It's not. In the general design with this guard here. When I move my hand towards that, I got pretty secure handling. When this application, something like this one, point of balance, by the way. So when I hold it in this way, the point of balance is towards my hand. So it could be live. Because it's short, is live. If that will be longer blade with a thickness, it will be probably more heavy and definitely not as good as some another light blades. So no any sparks, but thanks to that 20 cb blade, and I guess this is on kind of higher Rockwell's, let's say 60, I don't know, but probably I guess it's about 60 HRC. So probably if I will use the real edge, which I don't want to use, but if I will use the real edge, I probably won't do anything on that because that is so tough steel. It should be all right to do it. So a bit comparing. So this 1095, this is the DPX heft modified by me to the Tanto, but it was drop point and it was generally in the same size. There was the bottle opener. I've removed that, so because it's stupid for me there. But see, just the length comparison. These knives are very comparable in size, close to the thickness because this is about 5 millimeters too. Highly modified by me, highly. B35, different use knife. That one was probably the closest of use in that size. Probably these two got similar idea for what they are made. B35, so bushcrafter only for the size. 3.8 millimeters thick blade and 6.5 millimeter thick blade. A bit longer blade. This Kisljar City Hunter could be similar application. A bit longer blade, as you might see, and handle should be almost the same, but thickness is very different. Again, this is I believe 3.5 or 3.8 millimeters thick behind it. So if I'll put tips to the line, see this one, because this is slightly longer handle but thinner. This is much more live in hand. In such size of the knife, you feel that how fast is this one compared to this one. That's one thing, and I guess the closest in the size and what they are built for is this Bravo, I guess 13, made by N-Trek. You haven't seen that very long time. Same thickness, 1/4 inch, 440C cryo. So now these are like guards to cards, I would say. So this is in the description, probably the closest knife in my collection to this guy. Even it's, only it's a bit longer in, see that, if I hold them this way, so we see nice, I would say, close to 1 inch longer blade on the Bravo. Very nice handling, very nice grippy handle. Hard to see these knives today. What's important, this is hole grinded. So from the 1/4 inch, they use the hollow grind to get finer edge. And I saw that this knife in the black version, and on the picture it looks like this is slightly hollow grounded too, which I would understand that. But when this knife came, I said, well, it doesn't look like that. It's really flat. So they went from this point to the secondary bevel for about 2.5 millimeters change angle for this size, for this grinding, which is about 1.5 centimeter, so about 2/3 of an inch, about not exactly. So something like this one. So the drop is really, I would say, fast, and then it drops again to that real edge. As I said, it won't. So it didn't slice as well as the other knives with thin blade. So let's have a look. What I'd like to say, I saw a few Medford knives on YouTube. Very, very rarely see any tests, and I would say if I saw some that were folders or even folder, not many, as I said, and I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but I tried to find tests of these knives, the Medfords. I can't remember any single. So I will do some kind of test of this knife, of course. And this is not definitely bushcraft, and I've used that knife. This is not my first using of this knife. I will do the test as I said. So just the initial soft wood, definitely not bad if you take that how thick the blade is and the grind and everything, not bad. Make it half. I've seen better, but in such design and profile, I'm not that surprised. Well, it do the job, or it does the job, and it will do it definitely. Okay, I'll try the seat belt. The blade is too short for it, but anyway, I'll try at least two. So yeah, as I said, the knife shaves, so it's sharp, but it's definitely it's not definitely some food maker or simply chef's knives or something like we've seen the Alaris. That's absolutely different story. Yeah, so it's there. Was there something? Okay, what I want to do this one. So that was that. See these. It's not clean, but when you use this one, moment. I try to not push that much. So see that this is definitely not as clean as we want normally. Just compare with different grind and different thickness. Different story, absolutely different story. By the way, I haven't shown you. I got a regular folder for the Recon 1 called Steel, just the size comparison. Again, folders usually have the longer handle, and this is significantly longer handle. See the blade. If I put only the blade on it, see that there's still about inch and something on length. That's initial like test about this knife. What shall I tell you? When this knife came, I said, okay, maybe I was wrong, maybe not. So the question is, I wrote it here, who is this knife for, really? I'd like to show you something this different. The drop point is, I said, this is saber grind, mid saber grind, I would say, and this is kind of spear point, and it looks like it goes straight and it drops. Actually, it's like, see, it goes down here in this looking up very, very soon. It leaves the surface very fast. So it drops almost immediately, which is great. It's kind of, you know, tactical EDC knife. So who is this knife for? It's fixed blade. It's about 8 inches long overall. It's very robust. The CPM, 20 CV, it's 20 CV steel it's some kind of super steel. They compared it to M390, but there's plenty superlatives on it. Like, it holds an edge greatly, absolutely. It's what I found is, as a rust resistant, it is probably the most or the best rust resistant steel because the highest amount of chromium in it. That's what I found. I'm not some metallurgist, but the amounts of this, and there is not only the chromium, there was some another compound, I would say, or something in it, which makes the knife or the steel even better for rust resistance. So this is very rust resistant knife, and it holds an edge, as I said, absolutely greatly, and it's very robust, so it's really overbuilt knife. The cons are it's hard to sharpen it, of course. So not any finding stone in a field and sharpening this with a random stone or something like in a field, probably not. It's very thick behind the edge, which makes the knife very tough for the edge holding, but with it's very hard to use it for some delicate things. So it's not the best for food preps, do some carving. Definitely not. It's definitely not a crafting knife. So I mean bush crafting, for example, as I use it, and of course it's expensive. So again, who is the knife for? That was the question in my eyes, and I said, okay, this knife is probably one from the probably best, I would say, today's, I mean at these days, at this age, survival knife. Why? Of course, if that will be in that size, it will be, I guess, still usable or understandable, but as a survival knife at modern days in our area, also urban area, not any wilderness, high, you know, some highlands, hundreds and 100 miles from civilization, not something like that. I'm talking about real, where we really live. Urban area, leave home for 5 days, 3 days, depend, you know. So that could be the knife for that. It won't rust. Definitely in my use, it won't rust, even if we don't have any sea or ocean. But even if we have, I guess this one will be still alright. But we don't have, so standard drain, this is absolutely alright, especially if you at least somehow care about the blade. So after one day, after another day, just clean it, and that's it. With the sharpening, that's a problem, but it was the description of the steel. They said it's very hard to dull the knife. So if there is some kind of maintenance of the edge, so the knife is sharp and is initiate. So for that I leave home for, as I said, 3 days, 5 days, and I used it. It's very, very improbable. Is that? I will do it with normal use, with standard use. I won't cut any steel things, any, you know, ceramic, glass, and these things which should be tougher or harder than the steel is, and then it will destroy the edge. I won't do that. I will do some kind of food prep, these, let's say, some kind of lashing, rope cutting, wood processing, maybe even some combat uses. Maybe I'll find some tin, but not really thick, of course, let's say 2 millimeters, some aluminium, which is around everywhere now, cans and these things, and I'll use that. I guess that will be not hard for that. What I will see probably those scratches on the blade, but I guess it will survive this standard use. So what for else will I use it? Probably nothing. So that's why I said, and it's compact. At the moment, we've got high rains or heavy rains in whole country. We are expecting high floods, 100 years water. We are expecting at these days, today, this tonight, which coming, and tomorrow. That will be maybe very hard for our country. So we'll see. But anyway, this knife, that kind of knife, should be as a fixed blade, of course, accompanied by, let's say, any multi-tool, Leatherman, and these kind of knives, as pliers and even thin blade if I need something like that. Those will be probably the best for that, because of course if you got something like that, it won't bother you on your, if you got it attached on your equipments and everything. Why? Because it's quite small, and also it was 300 grams overall weight. Yeah, 309 grams, include the sheath, is not really huge. So you got tough blade which will not rust, which got edge which you probably won't destroy, at least not, definitely not easy, and you got it somewhere around, even in the town. So definitely something you would like to have with you, because you can rely on it. And that's the perspective. It's not the best crafter, it is not the best fighter, it's not the best in general survival knife, because it's short, simply it's still like, I can't carve with that properly, and these things, I got my cookery, and I got the trackers, I got machetes, and these things in specific areas, those will be much better than this one. But here in the area, again, this could be the best survival knife with that, even with the hard steel. That was the biggest question, where I said, okay, I got this grind, and I got a hard to sharpen steel or edge on that, and let's say, yeah, this is what we want for that purpose. Because when the week goes, everything will be fine, knife is somehow dull, I can take a 1 hour, 2 hours, even 3 hours if necessary, and I can put a nice edge which will last another days of hard use. That's important, because otherwise, I guess, with a standard use, some wood rope cutting and this thing, the edge will probably last much longer. All blades will do, doesn't matter about materials, even ceramics somewhere. Anyway, guys, as I said, Medford MIZUCHI, a very rare knife in my collection, and I'm glad I bought it. Even I wasn't this is kind of, sorry, I won't interrupt the end, but this is kind of like with the Alaris. Sometimes you got a knife or something you buy, and you say immediately, when you say, oh, I'd like to have it, you know, and you got these things, the excitement goes immediately. Sometimes you buy something and say, okay, but the excitement come a little bit later. And this is the thing. When I got the knife and I carried it, and I've used that a couple of times, I said, okay, I'm glad I've got it, because I see the purpose in my collection. It's very rare in my collection. I don't have many, maybe even zero. Okay, as I said, countable is only this knife for that. So very rare, but I'm glad for that. Anyway, you're gonna see a test about this knife. Thank you very much. Have a great time. Bye.